The following is a special presentation of the First Horizon Green Sports Zone. This is the Pizza Inn Eddie Spradlen Show.
Welcome back to First Horizon's Green Sports Zone, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Pizza Inn Eddie Spradlen Show, where we cover everything inside of Burley Stadium with the Greeneville football team. We'll recap this past week's 35-0 shutout over White County in the second round of the Class 4A playoffs. That sets up this week's big-time quarterfinal matchup here at home with the Anderson County Mavericks. But first, before we do that, we need to get a billboard spot in first. So we'll be right back to discuss those two things on First Horizon's Green Sports Zone.
The Pizza Inn Eddie Spradlen Show is brought to you by Gateway Ford Nissan, Tommie's Plumbing, by Pizza Inn, and by First Horizon Bank.
Here's a twist on your typical banking options. What if instead of choosing between a big bank or a small bank, you had one bank that's the best of both? That's First Horizon. Big bank muscle with small bank hustle. Big bank convenience and small bank connection. When the best of big meets the best of small, you get it all. To help you on the road to your horizon. First Horizon Bank.
Welcome back to First Horizon's Green Sports Zone, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Pizza Inn Eddie Spradlen Show, where we cover everything on the turf inside of Burley Stadium with the Greeneville football team. As always, I'm joined here with Greeneville head coach Eddie Spradlen. Coach, how's it going this week?
Going good, man.
Another big win, 35-0 over White County in the second round to move you into the quarterfinal round now. They had a potent rushing attack coming into the season. You were able to shut that down in order to get the win. How good did it feel Friday night?
You know, it felt very good. You know, we played a really talented football team like we talked about. We knew they were going to try to slow the game down, and the quarterback run to the sideline every time, get the play, then go to the huddle. Then they were up there running that clock down, and really physical football team. Did a really good job tackling against when we were on offense, but was a good challenge for us to get us ready for the next step in the playoffs.
Yeah, and a team that came into the game averaging over 200 yards a game in the rushing department, and you hold them to only 58 rushing yards the whole game. Cole Sims, who came into the game with a total of 1,500 plus throughout 12 games this year, and you hold him to just 23 yards all night. What went into that to be able to stop such a potent rushing attack?
You know, we said we had to win the line of scrimmage really on both sides of the ball, but we had to do a really good job defensively because, like we talked about last week, how good they ran the football. And they're going to come in here and try to just be more physical and just run the football out at you in different formations. And the big key was make sure we were lined up right and at the end of the day, just playing hard and getting to the football.
Not often do you get shut out. So let's talk about the defense first this time. Over the whole entire game, you only allowed them to 124 yards, and some of your main defensive players, Tegan Begley, once again, he's came on strong here in the second half, and especially in the playoffs, led you in tackles with 8 tackles, 2 assists, 2 TFLs. How good of a game did he have on Friday night?
You know, he's playing really good football right now. He gets to the football, still learning what we're doing and that system, and the more he dives into that, the better he's playing. So really proud of where he's at right now.
And then some others too. Justin Chandler right behind him, 6 tackles with a TFL. You had 2 defensive backs that had good games. Kane Ricker, 5 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and a pass breakup. And then Taryn Clarity, almost the same exact stat line, 5 tackles, a TFL, and another PBU. So talk about how the defensive backs were able to get involved in the game, and Justin Chandler's great night again.
Yeah, you know, the D-line played really good. Justin and Leif played one of their better games, playing with a lot of energy up front. It's got to continue into this week. And like you said, in the secondary, Taryn played, he's as good getting to the football and tackling as a corner we've had in a long time. And, then you got Kane running the alley down there, and he's making a lot of big hits and, breaking some passes up. So really proud of how both of those guys are playing at this point.
Another lineman that did really good the other night, Zorian Harris. He was flying everywhere, 3 tackles, 4 assists, which is big, and then 2 tackles for losses in the backfield with a QB pressure. So Zorian was getting off blocks and getting to where he needed to be on the field on Friday night. So how big was it to have somebody like that to be able to stop them in multiple ways?
Yeah, he's a wrecking ball down there on the D-line. So, he's played really good football. He's super athletic, runs really good, gets to the football. When he gets there, something big is going to happen.
And then looking at Jack Lister, also another big night from him, 5 tackles, 3 assists. You've talked about how he's been the vocal leader stepping in to a new role this year for the first time, and we're, I guess, 12 games deep now in the second round of the playoffs, and he's still holding his weight in that position. How happy are you with how Jack has been able to develop this year into the position that you needed him to play?
Yeah, he's playing a tougher position. He's a undersized guy in there against all those linemen. Jack's probably about 175 pounds, 180 at the most, and playing in there inside against everybody. He's a big lineman, and he's doing a great job. But like you said, he gets us lined up and does really good. That linebacker crew graduated everybody. We knew it was going to be that some guys were going to have to step in there. And, we had Cole Smith go down with an injury, who was playing really good football there earlier in the year. But those guys have really played good. And, Jude Dyer is another kid that had a big night the other night. A TFL, he has a big sack there on a third down play where they're trying to throw the football. He's playing really good football on both sides of the ball, but the other night he played really good on defense as well.
Yeah, let's transition into the offense by talking about Jude right there, because his stats on defense, 2 tackles, 2 assists with a TFL and a sack, and he had a lot bigger of a role on offense on Friday night. 10 rushes, and he made the most of those extra carries, 55 yards, and got into the end zone twice from 3 yards out and 2 yards out with 2 rushing touchdowns. So you kind of relied on Jude a little bit more in a position that he's not really been in, starting that running back position and being the main feature back in a deep playoff game. How happy were you with how Jude played on Friday?
Yeah, really happy with all those guys. Jude come in there, and just how the series goes. Other guys right now are going from about series to series. Maddox in there started the game off, ran the ball hard. Then Jude's series were a little probably longer scoring drives, so getting a few more carries. And Teagan came in there a couple times and got a couple carries as well. But we're trying to rotate those guys. All 3 of them play on defense for us and play big time roles. But it's starting with those guys, and we've got to be able to establish the running game, and it really starts up front with our offensive line, which played really well again.
And then going back to the quarterback position, we always talk about Caden Ball each episode, and he had another good night, 13 of 17, 237 passing yards, 2 touchdowns through the air. On the ground, 13 rushes, 63 yards, and a touchdown from 13 yards away. So how good did Caden play the other night?
He played really good. We had one time we were running, RPO and tried to throw it when he just should have kept on running, got that interception. But other night, played really good, ran the ball hard, made some good throws in the passing game. If we're going to go, he's going to have to lead us. So I'm really proud of where he's at as well.
And the 2 main receivers that he had on Friday night that he was able to find for both of those touchdowns were Taryn Clarity and Cole Franklin. Taryn had 4 receptions for 95 yards and a touchdown. That one was from 70 yards out to put you up 21-0. And then Cole Franklin's was a 65-yarder to put the game away and put you ahead 35-0. He had 5 receptions for 73 yards and a touchdown. So what was working well out on the edge for both Taryn and Cole to allow them to get open and for Caden to find them?
It started, everybody's going to try to limit what Zay does, so it's going to open up for somebody else. So the other night we were able to take advantage of Taryn and Cole, and Cole makes some really big catches for us. And, Taryn got that big catch, and he runs that guy over before a half to get in the end zone, put us up 21-0 against a football team that wants to get out there and establish their running game and put them behind. But offensive staff did a really good job of taking advantage of what they were trying to do against Zay to open somebody else up to make big plays. This time of year, we don't care who gets the ball. We just got to get the ball in the end zone.
Absolutely, and you had 382 total yards of offense on Friday, 237 passing, 145 rushing, and that sends you to the quarterfinal round again, a round that you're pretty familiar with now. So it's become a standard the last few years here at Greeneville to make it deep into the playoffs and earn 13 games and get to the quarterfinal round. So how happy are you that standard is still alive this deep into this run?
Yeah, this is what we talked about. This is a fun group, special group, a young man to be a part of. Every year is something different, but like you said, I think it's the 9th year that we've been in the quarterfinals. Played for 2 state champions, played in a semifinal once. We got it's time to do something different. We need to get back to the semifinals, and if it's going to happen, it's going to happen against a big-time opponent in Anderson County.
I think you've got a streak of consecutive seasons making it to the quarterfinals too, but a lot of people know that I'm bad at jinxing things, so I'm not going to say an exact number, because if I do, then the Green Devils will probably get eliminated in the second round next year. So no numbers, I'm not jinxing anything, but another number is facing Anderson County now in the quarterfinals. It's a little bit of a streak also. Don't know the number behind that one, but I remember last year the season ended in Anderson County. 2 years ago, their season ended here in Burley, and then 3 seasons ago, the season ended at Anderson County. So it's become a playoff rivalry dating back to almost 10 years ago now. Seems every single year now Greeneville and Anderson County meet in the playoffs, even years where you don't expect it to happen, like this year when the TSSAA switches things up. They still meet in the quarterfinal round. We'll talk about that a little bit in the second half also, so don't go anywhere. We need to get a few messages in from our loyal sponsors first before we talk about that Anderson County game this Friday here on First Horizon's Green Sports Zone.
Here's a twist on your typical banking options. What if instead of choosing between a big bank or a small bank, you had one bank that's the best of both? That's First Horizon. Big bank muscle with small bank hustle. Big bank convenience and small bank connection. When the best of big meets the best of small, you get it all. To help you on the road to your horizon. First Horizon Bank.
Pizza Inn presents I Ate at Pizza Inn. I ate pizza at Pizza Inn. I ate a salad at Pizza Inn.
I ate pizza!
I ate it all.
Hi, I'm Kyle, and I'm inviting you to come and enjoy Greeneville's favorite hometown pizza, pasta, salad, and dessert buffet for just $8 all day, Monday through Friday. And then you can say,
"We all ate at Pizza Inn."
Tommie's Plumbing has been in business for 30 years, and we're still growing because we treat our customers like family. We are proud to do any job from kitchen faucet installation to a complete home repipe. Tommie's Plumbing offers warranties on most products installed by our technicians. When the job is done, our friendly professionals make sure to clean up. We invite you to visit our new showroom in Jonesboro to see our quality products for yourself. Tommie's is the only one to call when you need a fast, reliable, professional plumber in the Tri-Cities.
At many dealerships, you get what you'd expect. Games, gimmicks, and shady sales tactics. At Gateway Nissan in Greeneville, expect the unexpected. Low prices, convenient service, and a great buying experience.
Get our Gateway exclusive lifetime powertrain warranty.
No worries for life.
You deserve the unexpected. It's the #1 reason you gotta get to Gateway.
Shop online at GatewayNissanGreeneville.com.
Or take the super short drive down Highway 11E to Gateway Nissan in Greeneville.
Welcome back to First Horizon's Green Sports Zone, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Pizza and Eddie Spradlen Show, where we cover everything inside a beautiful Burley Stadium with the Greeneville football team. As always, I'm joined here with Greeneville head coach Eddie Spradlen. So during the break, I looked up the statistics. 4th year in a row playing Anderson County now in the playoffs. 8 of the last 9 years playing Anderson County in the playoffs, and even the 2 years before that streak began, you played them in the regular season. So it's your 10th meeting in the last 11 years with Anderson County, 8 of the last 9 in the playoffs, 4th year in a row now in Burley Stadium on Friday night. So everybody knows how big of a rivalry it is. We get to see it again. What are you expecting?
You want a big-time football game against a really talented team that's got, they got kids, at least 4 or 5 kids on their football team that's got Power 4 offers. So it's going to be a big-time challenge for us on Friday night.
And I know it's one of the games that everybody throughout East Tennessee looks forward to because of the games over the previous years. They've all been instant classics, it seems. Something comes down to the end that always changes the momentum into the 4th quarter. So what are you going to have to be able to do as a team to sustain a comeback or to be able to have that momentum going into the 4th quarter in this game?
I expect a 4-quarter game, and we can't turn the football over in games like this. And you got if you got a Power 4 running back and their guy that he's got ACC, SEC, and Big Ten offers, so is really explosive when he touches the ball. So you're not going to be able to stop him, but you're going to have to limit him somewhat. He can't just come in here and run wild on us and expect us to win the football game. They got a really good quarterback. He's a freshman, but has made a lot of big time plays. He's got some big offers already as a freshman. And then they got another kid at receiver that has got some offers as well, who plays some corner. So really talented. They got a big offensive defensive line. One of their offensive linemen was a Mississippi State commit at one point. He's no longer, but they've got a really talented football team for sure. You start looking at that team. It's nobody that played against us last year when we played them.
Yeah.
So they've got a lot of kids that moved in there. A lot of kids from Beard and Oak Ridge. They got a lot of kids that making up this football team for them. Really talented players for sure.
And you've got a lot of new faces and new places on that team, but it's the same Anderson County team of previous years and the same Anderson County style with that same coaching staff. So what are you expecting to see on offense and defense on Friday night whenever they take the field opposite of you?
I think they're going to try to come in here and establish that running game with their running back, and which will open up their passing game as well. So your quarterback does a really good job of throwing the deep ball, got a quick release, gets it out quick to those receivers and tries to let them make some plays. They do a good job getting the running back involved in the passing game. So they're going to try to establish that running game with their big offensive line, but then they're going to let it loose on some play action to challenge you deep.
This is a question that I never ask either, but knowing that over your shoulder, I keep seeing the nutrition station over there. This deep into the season now, a lot of teams don't make it 13 games into the season, and making it this far into the season, it's really hard to stay healthy. It's really hard to stay hydrated. It's really hard to stay nutritious. So this late into the season, how are you able to keep everybody healthy and keep everybody hydrated going into this part of the season?
First off, I think it starts with us in the weight room. A lot of people start the season, they hang up those weights and not really doing much, or they're going to go in there and just try to maintain, do some curls and triceps and be done. But we're still attacking every day. We're going to come in there today and we're going to attack the squat rack and get a nice, heavy, explosive squat. We're going to lift 3 to 4 days a week throughout the whole season. It's not going to change because it's playoff time. We're going to continue to do what we do. We're going to continue to condition them hard today during practice. And we're fortunate we've got a great athletic training staff. Glenn Evans here every morning. He gets here about 8:30, and he's here throughout the day. Does treatment on our guys to try to keep them healthy. And like you said, this nutrition, staying back here. Excuse me, we really take a strong emphasis in this. Bill Bearfield runs that for us. He's here every morning at 7:15. We open up for our players to come in here and get some, we'll have bagels and oatmeals and different things for them if they're not getting breakfast or just need a snack throughout the day. This is available for them because, like you said, you got to be at your best when it matters most. And for us to be at that best, we got to continue to work in that weight room. We got to make sure that we're getting the right nutrition. And one thing we challenge our guys, we got to make sure you're getting the right sleep at night because you got to perform at your best. If you're not sleeping, you're not going to be performing at your best. So we really take a strong. This is a big aspect of our football program as anything. It's not just offense, defense, special teams. We really take a strong emphasis on nutrition, strength and conditioning. That's you don't know why we win games. That's why we win games with strength and conditioning stuff that we do on top of everything else. We just we're still training speed at this point in the year. We don't hang that stuff up just because the season starts. Where a lot of programs might not train like we're going to train, but it's not easy to continue to do it like we've been doing. But we've been fortunate to be able to continue doing that, and as a result, you're seeing the results on Friday night.
Biggest game of the season up to this point on Friday night as Anderson County's coming back into Burley Stadium for a quarterfinal matchup in the Class 4A playoffs. Looking to advance into the semis now. You've got 3 keys to the game that you need to carry out on Friday night in order to achieve that. So what are they on Friday?
Man, first and foremost, you can't play with your nerves on this one. Everybody knows it's a big game. I think it's from east of Sevier County, it's the only game that's going to be played on Friday night anywhere. So, you know, it's a lot of focus is going to be, attention going to be on this game. But you can't play with them nerves. You got to just let it loose and play your best football at this time. You know, that's first and foremost. Don't let the moment be too big, I guess. And then, you know, second, the key right here, you got to play good on offense. It starts with our offensive line. You know, you get an opportunity to make plays. Those guys got to make plays when they get an opportunity. You know, if it's running the football, throwing the football, we got to be able to move it. You know, we get to a point we got to punt on, you know, fourth down. We got to be smart. You know, that same guy that's running backs back there is the punt returner. So you got to make sure you're sharp on everything that we do this week. And third big key is defense. We can't let their running back run wild on us. We got to make sure we continue to get to the football, make things happen when we get there, and you know, you can't give up a deep ball in games like this. You know, that'll change the game real quick. And fourth, and like always, we always got to make sure we hit those special teams. We got to be big in a game like this. You know, you talk about 2 years ago, we kind of got the scoring thing going by. We had a fake punt that Carson Quillen scored on a touchdown, I believe in the second quarter against them to break the scoreless 0-0 at that point. And so got to be good in special teams in games like this.
Yeah, it'll be a big-time game that I think a lot of eyes will be on. Of course, like you said, being the only game east of Sevier County, you can expect a lot of people to be here. We say it every game. We mean it more this time. Get here early. If not, then I don't know where you'll be able to park at. You'll be able to get in and probably be able to stand on the fence because there may not be any seats available if you show up after game time. But hey, if you can't make it out and you don't want to weather the cold on Friday night, you can watch the game on First Horizon GreeneSportsZone. We'll have a special presentation of this week's playoff game. You can catch it on the First Horizon GreeneSportsZone's YouTube, Facebook page, and also on the Radio Greeneville Facebook page. We'll have Ron Metcalf on the call along with Pat and Richard Tipton. So if you can't make it out to the game, you can catch it on all of our sites. But Coach, unless there's anything else you've got to add, that's all I've got.
Go Devils, man.
I'm excited for Friday night.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have all boots on the ground there on Friday night. You'll see all of us there from First Horizon's GreeneSportsZone, and we hope to see you all there. If not, catch us on the Facebook and YouTube pages. But that's all we've got this week. So thank you all for watching this week's edition of the PT and Eddie Spradlen Show. We look forward to seeing you next time here on First Horizon's GreeneSportsZone.